Avengers Endgame wasn't just the end of a saga, it was the biggest cinematic event of a generation. But almost immediately after, Marvel kept going. New shows, new movies, new characters, and eventually fatigue set in. So, what if something changed? Hello everyone and welcome back and welcome to the first proper commentary video of 2026. I know we're nearly the end of January, but a lot of stuff has had to happen, so I do apologize. But today we are carrying on and talking about a hypothetical. I do like making these what if videos, and you can expect a fair few more coming soon. But what if Marvel took a break for 3 years after Endgame? So restarting everything after 2022, which is when most of the other industries carried on after COVID. So what if they proceeded to do the same thing? So without further ado, let's get into it. So if we're working backwards from Endgame or working from the Endgame point, we have to talk about its impact to the whole of the MCU and obviously the culture. Avengers Endgame wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural phenomenon. It concluded over a decade of storytelling, delivered emotional payoffs for multiple characters, and became one of the highest grossing films of all time. Probably what I think the highest right now, I could be wrong, it could be Avatar. The shared experience of watching Endgame created a sense of finality rarely seen in blockbuster cinema. They very rarely do re-releases of this, however they do like Indiana Jones, Matrix, Terminator at times. They do reruns of that, but Endgame isn't one of them. It's a glorified moment in cinema history. At that moment, Marvel had the world's full attention, goodwill, and trust. A break at this point could have preserved that feeling that Endgame truly meant something, not just another chapter, but more as a genuine conclusion. Now, I know 3 years does seem like a lot of time, but you also have to consider there was a movie that was after that, and they could have still done stuff between 2019 to 2022, but the major stuff should have continued in 2022. But the stuff that happened in between then just didn't work. Taking time away might have allowed audiences to miss the MCU instead of feeling overwhelmed by it, because that is essentially what happened. So, in saying that, what actually happened instead? Instead of slowing down, Marvel accelerated. Disney Plus launched, and suddenly the MCU wasn't just in cinemas, it was in your living rooms year-round. You had shows like WandaVision, Loki, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then later on we had She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, and Echo, all of which expanded the universe rapidly, not as much as we would have liked it to. While some projects were critically praised, others struggled with inconsistent quality or unclear direction. The once carefully curated MCU began to feel very fragmented, nothing was really linking, but characters appeared and disappeared without payoff and understanding, and that interconnected storytelling that once felt so special started to feel mandatory rather than just exciting, that we all loved. And we all know from Avengers, the first one, to Endgame, it was all tied in together. But now, it just didn't make sense. So, in this, what would a 3-year break actually have achieved? A 3-year break could have given Marvel time to properly reassess its future. Instead of rushing in to replace the characters like Iron Man and Captain America, the studio could have focused on building a new long-term vision from the ground up. Writers and directors would have had far more breathing room to craft meaningful arcs rather than just spitting one out at every damn corner, ensuring that new characters felt earned rather than forced. Moon Knight and She-Hulk, I think, were the two ones that I think would have been well to stick, but rest of them, Creative risks could have been taken without pressure by maintaining constant output, but most importantly, Marvel could have avoided launching half-formed ideas that later struggled to find relevance. Loki, absolutely phenomenal show, however, it lost its touch, all because of fatigue, and that fatigue could have been easily avoidable, and I think that to me kind of ticks me off. So with all this, the 3-year gap would have created audience anticipation, but what we got instead was audience fatigue. So let's outweigh the two. One of Marvel's biggest problems post-Endgame was audience fatigue, as I've just said, but when the content is consistent, it stops feeling special. A planned break could have reversed the effect, rebuilding anticipation and excitement, but absence often strengthens demand, and Marvel historically thrived when each release felt like an event. A 3-year gap would have allowed fans to reflect, rewatch, and genuinely miss the MCU, miss its glory, because right now we're getting basically drip-fed Marvel content, and I think that's what we should have stick to in the first place, considering the rocky road that Marvel have experienced since 2022. I think that absence of the MCU's glory has really been neglected in the recent years. So, what were the risks of taking a break? Because obviously there's going to be some, however it is a good idea, but there is always some drawbacks. Marvel as a business, and stepping away for 3 years could have meant losing cultural relevance, momentum, and box office dominance. Other franchises like DC, Star Wars, or other non-superhero blockbusters might have filled that void, and they would have devolved. There also became a risk that casual audiences would move on and quickly. In an era of constant content, whether that is on streaming services or in cinemas, disappearing entirely could have weakened Marvel's grip on mainstream attention. Now, I'm saying there are so many other industries and streaming services and franchises that also took a break. I think Marvel should have also done the same, rather than trying to get ahead of the game with more content, because it became a quantity over quality situation, and that's why the MCU is just basically crumbling at this point. So after Endgame, that was the Infinity Saga, and then we had the Multiverse Saga, which was confirmed in 2020, then we obviously had the first unveiling of the Multiverse Saga with WandaVision in 2021. But if Marvel had the Multiverse Saga might have launched with far more clarity and purpose. Instead of introducing the multiverse across multiple uneven projects, it could have been unveiled as a carefully planned narrative and defined stakes a bit more like they did with Avengers. Characters like Kang have definitely felt more threatening, and he could have been so much more what's the word? Dominating when Thanos overcome the multiverse, because as much as there is the multiverse definitely seems more catastrophic, but events like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness or Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania could have carried a more weight to them, but the reset period might have allowed Marvel to avoid this overusing the multiverse before audiences fully understood it. Loki was a good starting, but they basically milked that cow until it was dry, and it was the thing is, you could visually see that fatigue setting in hard, and it was just it wasn't great. And so now that we're outweighing every single thing, the negatives, the pros, and what happened instead, and what could have happened, and what would have been a better option, what would have been the right move overall? Looking back, a 3-year break after Endgame likely would have benefited Marvel creatively. However, even if it came to the short-term risks, it could have preserved the MCU's prestigious status, reduced the and allowed for a more pure long-term vision. While Marvel is still one of the most ambitious and admirable industries, to constantly release cycle diluted the magic that wants to find its whole franchise and make it what it is. But sometimes the smartest move isn't to keep going, it's to start breathing and strong. After a 3-year break, because of the things that happened that point, it seemed to happen. However, if that didn't happen, 1 to 2 years wouldn't have been a bad idea. But it would also been a good indication to release stuff like special presentations to drip feed audiences before they came in with a new wave of a saga and new content. So what if Marvel took a 3-year break after Endgame? The MCU might feel more focused, more exciting, and more special today. Instead of chasing constant relevance, Marvel could have rebuilt anticipation and delivered a strong new era. But what do you think, folks? Should Marvel have paused after Endgame, or was continuing the only option? Let me know in your thoughts in the comments below. Well, without further ado, folks, that is the end of today's video. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and do not forget to comment what else you'd like to see on this very channel. But without further ado, folks, hope you have an amazing day as always, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!
Yeah!